talk about a guy that told me that he murdered a few people. Okay. And I got a couple of them stories, but I got a story of a guy named, I'm not going to say the rest of his name, but his name is, and he was telling me about how some guy stole his bicycle. And in stealing his bicycle, he was really upset and mad because, I mean, he had a truck, but he was mad because he said it was somebody that I guess lived around the area and used to hang at the bar they hung out at. And this was in Florida on the East Coast. But the point of the matter is, in I'd say about 2011, 2010, 2011, I met this guy, and we were sitting on a truck, and we're riding to the store. And I don't know why he was just explaining these things to me. Maybe it was his way of getting rid of it from his conscience. But he was saying, "Man, I've met some pretty messed up people here." And I'm like, "Yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah, I met some really messed up people." And he was talking about how people do each other wrong. And he said that one day, um, he saw somebody going in, I guess, where he had his little shed or something. And or it was to the side of his house, I believe, like right where he stayed. And he saw somebody coming out the shed with his bike. Well, he saw the person, but not entirely. So he knew who it was. He was like, "Cause I know I've seen that person. I knew them before." And so they ended up riding off with his bike. Well, he's, I guess, somehow found the bike and found the person, but they weren't together. So the bike was parked at the bar that he usually hung out. And that guy that he saw, the persona, I guess, the image of the person that he knew, they were there at the bar. And he told the guy, he's like, "Hey, I know you stole my bike." They got in an argument. Then I think it ended up in a real physical fist fight. And he said he took off before the cops could show up. And I guess the guy and him, he must have really beat the guy up or something. He said he hid for a little bit and waited and saw the guy grab the bike and then take off with it after this incident, after the police disappeared and everything. He said he then saw the guy get on the bike and take off with the bike. And he's like, "I knew it." So later on, like after it happened, he ended up finding the guy. He said that he beat him up again, this time unknowingly, that the guy didn't realize it was him. So he beat him up again and then threw him in a canal where there was alligators. And I don't know. Look, I don't know how true that is, but I know that the man was sincere about it. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he was like, "I'm serious." And he was not smiling, he was not joking. And he said, I said, "What, how'd you beat him? Like, how'd you hurt him? How'd you kill him or something?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I didn't mean to kill him." He said, "I beat him up to the point that he was just lifeless." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to let you know because people do things bad to each other." But at the point, I didn't know him that well. I just met him. I didn't even know his whole entire name. But I knew people that did. And I knew people that knew him for a long time. Some people that actually did know him for years. They knew everything about him, technically. And they were telling me that, yeah, he's pretty crazy. He's a nice guy, really nice guy. But he's crazy. He does crazy things sometimes. I don't. know exactly because they didn't explain to me all those crazy things, but I can tell you, I have had the, I guess you could say, the availability for some people to confess these things to me and tell me that they have done some pretty vile crimes. I'm just telling you guys just because this happened a long time ago and it just came to my mind like, hey, this is a true story that I heard and I remember. I don't know all the details behind it, but all I can say is that some people have confessed some things to us. Um, and we have a channel called the Church of Christ and Constitution. And I'm going to share a story there of a guy that actually gave his life to Christ but confessed to us crazy stuff and actually ended up in an exorcism. So yeah, I've been through some things with people. I learned some things. All I can say is please be focused on reality and be nice to people because a lot of people go crazy for a lot of things. And not every one of these stories get told. Sometimes not even the police catch the people. Okay, I don't know if he was ever caught. Just letting you know. Till then, be safe. God bless. And be nice to people.